Well, we're just going to walk through what our evaluation is, our basic evaluation we do with every athlete, be it our college athletes, our club athletes, our edge athletes. The evals grow or are adjustable based on space sometimes, or based on the level. Sometimes we add a conditioning evalu or some sort of conditioning test, an extra sprint test, an extra jump, something along those lines. But we're just going to go over the basics, all right? So first part of every evaluation we do is we always start with an injury risk assessment. Again, looking at quality of movement of the athlete more so than any kind of quantity or measurable from that standpoint. Very simple, subjective assessment. It's a 3-2-1 scale, 3 being perfect, 2 being a minimal or a single flaw, 1 being multiple flaws or problems within it, and 0, in this case, 0 is pain. All right, so if there's the athlete's going through anything while they're moving through it and they're like, ow, this hurts, or if you, every time you do a test with them, you're at the end, hey, does anything hurt? Any problems? Nope. Okay, good. But if it's pain, 0, all right? That's a 0 score there. From that standpoint, our goal is, again, push them into Ortho Express, push them to PAR, help them overcome whatever the pain or the injury is, and then reassess from that standpoint for that test. Injury risk, first one we always do is our overhead squat. So real simple, PVC pipe, dowel, some sort of implement for the golfers. I use their golf club, something they're familiar with. Nothing crazy, doesn't need to be heavy. We want it lightweight because it doesn't need to be a workout. Grabbing a PVC pipe, I always walk the athlete through. It's like, all right, you're gonna start with the PVC pipe over top of your head. We'll help you set your elbows up at 90 degrees, arms straight up over top. From there, give me 3 of the best squats you can, keeping that PVC pipe over our head. So basically going through that just like I did with Austin. We'll start with it right over top of the head, Austin. If we need to, Austin, move your right arm out a little bit now. Straighten those arms out. Get your feet where you feel comfortable. Give me 3 of the best squats you got. Again, we're looking at symmetry and motion of where their knees are, where their feet are. Keeping that PVC pipe over top of their head. Is it drifting out in front? Are they unable to sit down low? Any of those things, any one of those would be we would score it as a 2. Multiples, we would score it as a 1. If Austin's like, man, I sit down there and it hurts, like on my left knee, 0. Very simple from that standpoint. Second test, real simple, is our LESS, or our landing test. Box, bench, something that's 18 inches or higher. Or not higher, 18 inches, 15 to 18 inches, essentially knee height for the athlete. Start up on top of the box. We'll adjust it for you, but basically what we're doing is we're gonna have them step straight out and give me a landing on both feet. Good athletic position. Very simple instructions. So looking from relatively straight on, starting up on the box, step straight out, give me a nice athletic landing, chest up, feet flat on the ground. Go ahead, Austin. And then freeze right there, Austin, real quick. So what we're looking for with this is, again, symmetry between the legs, athletic position. So Austin's chest isn't facing the ground. He's not like dipped way back where it's pointing to the sky. His knees aren't collapsed in. He's not all the way up on his toes. He falls forward out of it. He falls left or right. He's unstable. Any of those, again, drops us down to that 2. Multiples drop it down to the 1, right? One more time. Great. And when we're doing this, we're looking at it from multiple angles. Straight on, from the side, those are the things that we're looking at from the standpoint. Oh, yep, we can go from the side. So we can give them a view from the side. Good. Very simple. From there, our third assessment, third test in the injury risk, our last one essentially is our push-up. All right, with the push-up, we'll probably have to start back here, but real simple rules, instructions we start with. So Austin, when we do our push-up, feet are always together, hands are shoulder height, all right? So we're not up by our forehead, we're not down by our belly button from that position in our setup. So feet together, hands in line with our shoulders, all right? Chest goes all the way to the ground and all the way back up. All right, it's a full range of motion. It's not a partial push-up. We're not going a quarter of the way down. It's all the way to the ground and all the way back up. And we're gonna do this based on their level. If it's Youth or through middle school, best of 3 push-ups. High school or above, best of 5. Again, it's all quality. We don't need, hey, give me 25. It's 5 of the best ones. And we're looking for, with this, and Austin can go ahead, he's gonna give us some pretty great push-ups. Nice, even back, level back, shoulders and hips are parallel. With that, chest goes all the way to the ground, all the way back up. He's not rocking, he's not dipping, he's not doing the worm. Show us like a, go down, Austin, and then kind of do the worm coming up. Yep, so the shoulders aren't rising before the hips, or vice versa, coming down. Hips aren't dropping, and then the shoulders are coming down. Everything moves the even unit. Again, 3, perfect, 2, 1 drop, 1, multiple issues with that. 0 kind of serves 2 purposes in the push-up. It's kind of a unique one. 0, if they're unable to complete the full range of motion, even if it's not the best push-up, but if it's like they don't get to the ground, they don't get up, it's like a negative or a 0 test. They didn't complete the test the way it's supposed to be. Or it's pain, and we just got to make sure we know, okay, if pain, they had pain, or if it's just like incomplete test from that standpoint. How we measure our lower body power, our broad jump, very simple. Both of our facilities, we have tape measures in. If we don't, we have the roll-up ones we use when we go out to the high schools, or we go to the colleges. Very simple. We start at a line, or we establish a 0 point at the edge of the tape measure. In our facilities, it's on a crease or a crack or a piece of tape. Most other places, we just created, again, a 0 with our tape measure. From there, we have the athletes start both feet flat on the ground, toes right up against the line, jump out as far as you can, up and out, land both feet flat on the ground. We measure the distance then, or the back of the heel, and that number determines the distance from 0, or from where they started to where they land. Real simple, Austin. Good. Again, we're measuring off the farthest point back, so the back of his heel, or the farthest point, or the farthest heel back from that standpoint. One more time. Good. Again, big rip, big reach, measuring off the back of the heel. That measures our distance from that standpoint. 2 reps or 2 trials is what we typically stick with. For vertical jump testing, we simply use a jump mat, like you see here. Both in this facility, we have one up at Empowered. We take them with us wherever we go. Real simple, easy to use. Has a control panel on it. On the side, there's a switch. Push it up, turn it on. It'll give you some options for which tests you want to do. We do 1 jump. That'll give us our vertical jump measure. As for looking at the screen when you jump, our vertical jump number is the number all the way on the right-hand side of the display. As far as telling athletes what we do or how to approach a test, we simply give them simple instructions. Start on the mat, but with both feet. They can load up, use their arms, jump as high as they can, keep their legs hanging underneath them. They're not going to pull their knees to their chest. Land right back on the mat. Okay, it's an athletic landing too when we land, so we're not crashing to the ground, stomping our heels or our feet really hard. All right. 2 jumps typically tends to be our testing number or number of individual trials per individual. Sometimes we can go 3. When we're not using a jump mat, we have the opportunity to use our Vertec. But with the jump mat, it simply looks like this. You have them stand on the mat, load up, jump as high as you can, land back on the mat, athletic landing. Give a second trial. The best of the 2 trials, the higher number is the number that we take. How we measure our speed is in our 10 and 20. What you see right here is the 10-yard distance. Essentially, Austin's down there at our start point. In the field house, we've got the nice even lines where we start with our 0 and our 40-yard distance. We have to start behind the line. If you're not there and you're in a basketball court, start with the line on the side of the court. Measure out your distances. Again, having the nice long tape measures in our other facilities allows us to measure this out. 10 yards, 30 feet on the tape measure. 20 yards, 60 feet on the tape measure. Hand timing these, we've got electronic timers, but when we hand time, the simple instructions we give to the athlete: get yourself set at the line, make sure you make eye contact with us, so we're paying attention to what you're doing. From there, when the athlete takes off, you start your clock. As they come through that line, stop your clock. That's your time that we do. We'll have them go back, do it again, 2 trials, best of the 2 trials, which is the lowest number in this case. Again, time stuff, the lower the number, the better. 20-yard distance, we do the same thing. One change direction test we do is a 5-0-5. Right? And you look in your manual, it'll tell you we do 1 each way. The setup is a 10-yard lead-in, 30 feet on your tape measure between your start line and the first cone. From that first cone to the second cone is 5 yards or 15 feet. Right? We do this 1 each way. We're looking at their ability to change direction to the right versus their ability to change direction to the left. Right? That's based off the inside foot or the planted foot that they're off. Right? So if I'm going out and I plant on my right foot, left foot's out behind me and I'm coming back, that's right 5-0-5 change direction. If I go out, left foot hits the ground, right foot's outside, that's left. 5-10-5, right to left. All right, we're looking at the difference between the two. Just like every other test we do in timing stuff, we start the clock when they take off. But in this case, I'm not starting the clock based off when Austin takes off from our 0 point, right? The beginning of our 10-yard sprint. I'm measuring when he comes through that first cone. So as he sprints out, he's building up speed. I want to see how fast can he decelerate that speed to 0 and then re-accelerate back to the cone. So if he takes off, we'll go to the right, comes through the cone, boom, I hit the clock, lands, comes back through, boom. There's our 5-0-5 to the right. We would do the same thing then. He'd go out, sprint out, we need to switch sides so you can still see the cones. Now I'm on the other side, again, same thing. He takes off for his sprint. I start the clock, we cross the first cone, plants out there, start the clock when he comes through, 5-0-5 to the left. 1 measure each side. Again, we need both of them. You can do multiples if you want. Takes a lot of time, but at least getting 1 on each side, we can see their ability to change direction to the right versus their ability to change direction to the left. Younger the athlete or less experienced, there's going to be a bigger distance. Or a difference between the two. They're going to be really strong, turning on 1 foot, planing on 1 foot. They're going to be and less on the other side. So we want to measure that distance or difference between the two. And as we train them, our goal is to get those numbers as close as we can. Last test we're going to do is a 5-10-5. Very simple setup. If we are on a basketball court or you have access to a basketball court that has a volleyball court on it, the middle line or the center of the court, going through the middle of it, or the center of the volleyball court, is your 5-yard or the 0 start line from there. The 2 sides of your court, the 2 end lines, or sidelines of the court, are your 10-yard distance for the full total 10 yards of it, right? 5 yards to one side, 10 yards across, 5 yards back to the middle. Very simple to set up and tell our athletes what they need to do. One hand starts on the ground, in line with that cone. From there, again with a stopwatch, as soon as they take their hand off the ground, we start the clock. Hard sprint to 1 cone. Foot lands in line with the cone. We don't need them to touch it with their hand. All the way across to the other side, and then back through the middle. Very key, very important that we tell them both turns have to face your direction or the same direction. All right, so in this case, Austin is facing the center of the court. The end line of the basketball court's behind him. So if he's facing the center court, Austin, when you go both directions, both turns, you have to turn towards the midline or the center of the court, or half court. And we'll pretend like Austin takes off. He's got his hand on the line. Boom, I start the clock. Hard sprint across. Hard sprint back to the other side. Back to the middle. Stop it. Boom. There's his time. If we do this twice, we're going to do this twice. Again, you can do either 1 to the right, 1 to the left. You have a right and a left 5-10-5, or if it's something like a youth team or very young and we just want to see globally what their best time is either way, we can just take the best of the two.